Hi guys, welcome to Skin by Ariana. I am Ari, nice to meet you, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about my all-time favorite thing in skincare, which is sunscreen. I am a firm believer, and also am backed by science in this opinion, that sunscreen is the best thing you can do for your skin to protect it, to prevent against aging. Like, it's gonna save you so much time in the long run, because and money too, and pain. So as opposed to being 50, 60 and spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on creams and treatments and lifts and everything to try to prevent from wrinkles and get rid of like dark spots and stuff like that, which eventually will be inevitable, just because you can, no sunscreen is going to completely filter out everything 100% of the time, at least not with the sunscreens that are available right now. But you can still put a really huge dent and delay that aging a lot, and prevent premature aging as well. You don't want to be 30 and look like you're 50. Like, nobody wants that. It's not cute. And it also helps you avoid getting skin cancers and melanomas and like I said before, like those age spots and everything, especially if you are a pale skin person like me, and you are super duper pale. You are much more prone to early aging because we don't have as much melanin in the skin to help absorb the sun's rays. So I actually saw a chart once, and I don't want to quote it entirely because I would probably get part of it wrong, but basically the darker your skin is, the longer, naturally, not if you have a tan and you're naturally fair skinned, but if the darker your skin is, the longer you can be exposed to sunlight without it burning you or damaging your skin as much. So that being said, sunscreen is your best friend, and there are two different types of sunscreen. So you can have a chemical sunscreen, or you can have a physical sunscreen. So the physical sunscreens are a personal favorite, because there's only two ingredients that can be a physical sunscreen. These are also called mineral sunscreens because it's the minerals are the ingredient that help block the sun. So that is titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. Those are the ones that are going to reflect those rays. The only problem with mineral sunscreens is that they tend to leave a white cast, but they are generally really well tolerated by people with sensitive skin, by people with rosacea. They don't have to sink into your skin really to work, they just reflect. So it's a lot, I don't want to say safer, because there aren't really any studies that show that chemical sunscreens are harmful to humans. There have been some that have shown sort of kind of endocrine nerve damage to small animals, but in human studies that has not been the case, that it would be harmful to you in any way. So I do still use chemical sunscreens, but that little nagging bit in the back of your mind, it's like, maybe something will come out later through studies that maybe we shouldn't be putting this on our skin, because it is a chemical. And not that there's anything wrong with chemicals, they have been around for forever, they've been working really well for a long time, and there are lots of studies to back up the fact that they are safe and effective. So I'm not saying don't use chemical sunscreens, but I am saying that if you are like maybe a little bit cautious, or you have very sensitive skin, maybe try sticking to the mineral ones. That's just my advice to you. So I'm going to kind of break down the different types of sunscreens quickly. So like I said, the mineral or physical sunscreens that can be used interchangeably, they are the same thing, and those are titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. Like I said, those reflect the rays. For chemical sunscreens, there are a couple of different chemicals that can be used. I always forget what they are, so I'm going to reference a sunscreen bottle here, but the more common ones are like avobenzone, homosalate, octisalate, and oxybenzone. There are more, but those are pretty widely used and well studied. Oxybenzone is one of the ones that has been kind of a buzzword lately. There still are no studies that back up that it's not safe through clinical testing and everything like that. So I wouldn't say avoid oxybenzone unless you want to. And though there are a lot of chemicals that work, the way that those work is they kind of absorb the rays and distribute them and then kind of reflect them. So it's not a physical blocker the same way that a mineral sunscreen would be. It's sort of like a filter. So like I kind of think that as sunblock and sunscreen. Sunblock blocks the rays, reflects them, they don't really get to your skin at all. Sunscreen, those would be the minerals. Sunscreen sinks in, kind of screens the rays, and then sort of distributes. And that's not to say that one is better than the other. If the SPF is 50 in a mineral, it's going to be the same coverage as it is an SPF in a chemical, especially if it has that PA rating as well. The SPF that it is the SPF that it is. You know, if you apply the proper amount, you'll be getting the SPF that you're told you're getting on the bottle. So I'm going to start off with one of my all-time favorite brands, which is Australian Gold. So this one is their face sunscreen. And it is an SPF 50, it is tinted, and this is a mineral sunscreen. So the active ingredients are titanium dioxide and zinc oxide, both 4%, and this one doesn't have any dye in it. It's colored with algae, which I like a lot because a lot of times tinted things have red dyes in them, and red dye can react not badly, but not favorably with the sebum in your pores, so then it can cause breakouts, which is why you should never work out with makeup on, especially blush. So this one doesn't have any dyes in it, but it is still tinted, and I'll see if I can show you on my hand here. I have to layer this one with something else when I use it because it's a little bit too dark for me if I use the full amount of just this one. And so as you can see on my hand here, it's a little dark. If you are pretty much any skin tone other than mine, where you're just crazy pale, this would work for you. It still does blend into the skin very well. If I use another one underneath it, I'll put this one over top almost kind of as a primer for the rest of the sunscreen. And if I put a light layer, you can't really see. And it does dry down very satiny, which I like a lot. So you can put it over top of a greasy one and you won't look greasy. So you can, you know, put on a ton of greasy sunscreen and put a little bit of that on top kind of as a primer that also has, you know, a high SPF in it, and get like even better coverage, and then you won't be shiny and greasy and gross looking. So really, really love that one. Then its kind of sister product is also from Australian Gold, and that is their broad spectrum SPF 50 mineral lotion, non-greasy, and these are both water resistant for 80 minutes. This one is a body sunscreen, but I felt like I should mention it in here as well because you can use it on your face. I have not tried it on my face yet, because it does have a lot of fragrance in it. The other one, the face one, does not have any fragrance, so it's just sunscreen. You don't have to worry about the fragrance irritating your skin. This one is very, very heavily fragranced. It works great. I love it. I use it on my body and I think it's wonderful. It blends in really, really fast. It's not streaky. I do like it a lot, but it is very, very, very fragranced. It smells good. It smells kind of tropical, and it does smell nice. If you are not sensitive to fragrance, I would give this a try on your face, even maybe mix them together and see what happens. I'm going to be trying it on my face at some point, but I haven't done that yet, so I can't tell you how that would work in that case just yet. I can follow up with that later, but this is a really good one for your body too. So moving on to more mineral sunscreens. I'm gonna try to do all the mineral ones first and then go into all the chemical ones. So another one is the COTZ, the healthier sunscreen. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. I call it COTS, but I'm just gonna say COTZ. It stands for contains only titanium and zinc. And it's a mineral sunscreen. This one is SPF 40, so it's a little lower than I like to try to keep it. I try to stay around an SPF 50 just in case I can't get the full amount on there, then I at least still kind of give myself an SPF 30, 40 to it. This one's very nice. It's for, I believe this is the sensitive, yeah, this is the sensitive skin formulation. And I like this one. It is water resistant as well for 40 minutes. And I will show you the little bottle here. And it's cute packaging. It kind of reminds me of like the 60s maybe. Like, I don't know, I feel like it would be at home in an episode of Mad Men. I don't know when the company was started, but the packaging just kind of reminds me of that a little bit, which is cute. So this one doesn't have any oil in it. However, it is very greasy. I find that it can clog my pores if I use it over my entire face. So this is one of my favorite ones to use around my eyes. I'll just, you know, put a little on my finger and dab it around, and it blends in so well. So like I mentioned before, with not chemical, with mineral sunscreens, you can kind of get that white cast sometimes, which is another thing I'm worried about with using the Australian Gold, the untinted one on my face. Try it out, I'll let you know. But this one leaves no white cast at all. Like it blends in perfectly, and I will show you. It is just a white cream sunscreen. And I'll show on my hand here. Ooh, that was more than I more than I meant to put on there, but that's okay. So, and I'll rub it in here and show you. And I will look at what I'm doing while I'm doing it. So hopefully I don't end up doing something weird. But so you saw how white it was. And here I'm rubbing it into my skin. There's a little bit of a white cast right now, but you can massage it away, which with a lot of other ones, it gets so dry that you're just pulling at your skin to try to rub it in the rest of the way. With this one, because it is so hydrating, I don't find this one to be drying at all. Like I said, it can be even a little bit greasy, unfortunately, but completely gone. So if you're looking for one that has no tint and no white cast, this is going to be your friend. This is going to be your best bet, I think. I've tried a lot of them that claim that they have no white cast, and they're usually lying. Or maybe that's the case for certain skin tones, but with mine, I can always see it. I end up looking kind of bluish purple, and I look like a ghost. I look like I died, and I'm just kind of walking around with like no blood flowing throughout my body. That is what I look like when I wear most untinted mineral sunscreens. This one doesn't do that. This one is great for that. It is kind of heavy though. It's not supposed to clog your pores, but I have found that it can be a little bit clogging. So if you're gonna go to the beach and you know you're gonna be in and out of the water and greasiness isn't really your problem and you're gonna have to deep clean your face at the end of the day anyway, this one would probably be a good one to wear to the beach. Maybe layered with the Australian Gold, kind of get rid of that greasiness a little bit. This one is great around the eyes though, because it is a higher SPF, but it doesn't burn or irritate the eye area because it's a mineral sunscreen and it's for sensitive skin. So this one's really nice. Put that one back in its little box here. And then the other one that I will use around my eyes is this one by Dermalogica, and this one's not waterproof. It's just the Total Eye Care Broad Spectrum SPF 15, which it's an SPF 15. So technically it's the SPF, like the minimum SPF that is recommended by, you know, skincare professionals. To me, I think SPF 15 is a little bit low, especially for that delicate skin around the eyes. Like, is that really all you want to put there? Plus, I'm not really sure how much of this you would have to use to get the full SPF 15, but I did want to mention it because it does have SPF in it and it is very brightening for the under eye area. It has a little bit of a tint to it, some little like brightening complex, I guess. So it's kind of orangey, which is not showing up very orangey in the camera, but it does look kind of orange. And it blends in pretty nicely if you could just kind of pat it. If you put on too much, it can get a little bit cakey looking under your eyes and sort of settle into the creases when you smile. But if you put on, you know, a reasonable amount, it goes away and you don't see it. It's pretty brightening. I believe it has caffeine in it. I don't know if it's a chemical or a mineral sunscreen, to be honest with you. I lost the box a long time ago and I just use it, and it doesn't irritate my eyes. I don't know if it's a chemical one that was specially formulated to be safe around the eye area, or if it just, you know, is a mineral one. I have no idea. I know that's probably not the most helpful information, but it is an SPF 15 and it's not bad. It's a good eye cream. Usually I would put it over top of one that's a little bit more hydrating, just to kind of get a little extra guard from the sun. And I always put another sunscreen over top of this one anyway, but it is pretty brightening for the under eye. So moving on to another one, another tinted mineral sunscreen is this one by Clinique. It is their Pep Start broad spectrum SPF 50. The difference between this one and their just regular SPF 50 sunscreen is that this one has tint to it. The other one does not, and I found that the other one that is just sunscreen and has no tint to it, like this one does, it leaves a really bad white cast and it is pretty much impossible to rub it away. It dries down really fast, which is good, but it leaves the white cast. So I wouldn't recommend that one. This one is pretty nice. It does have a yellow color to it, and you have to shake it because it's a liquid one. Let's give it a little shake here, and I'll just put a dab on my hand. It is pretty yellow, as you can see, which means for me that I can't put on the full amount of just this one. This is a good one for me to kind of touch up throughout the day. Sometimes I just keep it in my purse, and if, you know, I'm outside a lot for work, you know, walking around or near the window a lot, I'll, you know, kind of reapply during the day, and it does go away, but it's just a lot to put on for, you know, full coverage to get that full SPF 50. This one's not waterproof, but it does have those iron oxides in there that help prevent against damage from blue light and visible light from phone screens and computers and stuff like that. So it is a good one. It gives me a very like healthy glow when I wear it because it has those like little bits of yellow in there, and you can't tell. It doesn't look like I'm, you know, wearing a foundation that's different than my skin or anything like that, but it does give you like a pretty nice glow. So another one that I have, which I talked about in a previous video, is the one by Color Science. That is the SPF 50 PA+++ broad spectrum sunscreen. It's the Sun Forgettable Total Protection Face Shield. This one, if I can get it out of the bottle, I will show to you. It's this cute little blue bottle, and it's very nice. This one is water resistant for 40 minutes, which I really like. It's a mineral one as well, and it is tinted. I'm not gonna put this one on my hand because I already have a bunch of other ones happening on my hand right now. And it's also kind of expensive, and it's one of my favorites. So I did have to order this one. I don't know if you can get it in stores anywhere. I only have Ulta near me, so if I want something that Ulta doesn't carry, I have to order it. And my Ulta doesn't even carry all of the brands that Ulta as a whole does carry. So there's a lot of ordering that happens in my life, which I really don't like, to have to order stuff. I like to be able to try it out in the store before I take it home. But so this is the mineral sunscreens, and it is just zinc oxide. The active ingredient for this one is 12% of zinc oxide. So it doesn't have the titanium dioxide in there, but it does work very well. It's water resistant. It has a very pretty tint that is self-adjusting, so it doesn't show up on me. It just looks like my skin color, which is great because I'm usually too pale for the tinted ones. Even if it's like a self-adjusting tint, you can still see it on me. So that one is very nice. And then my last, second to last mineral one is by Exuviance. This is the one I have on right now. That's it. Actually, just that. It is very good at kind of evening out the skin tone. It also has a little bit of a tint to it. It's a mineral one. The active ingredients in this one are the titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. Titanium dioxide 7%, zinc oxide 6%. This one is not water resistant, but it's really good just a day-to-day, just on a day-to-day basis. Comes in this cute little bottle. You also have to take this one. It has kind of a cool tone tint to it, but you don't see it once you put it on. It is, they say self-adjusting tint, and they're not kidding. It really is very self-adjusting tint. This one and the Color Science one also have those iron oxides in there that kind of help guard against visible light. So like I said, this one is not water resistant, but it is really, really good. It has green tea in it, which can be calming. They claim that it is supposed to help guard against free radicals. Once you put something on your skin, it's not really going to be super effective at guarding against free radicals, just because it can't really like move around and scavenge on your skin. If you were to, stick some free radicals in a bottle with it, it would probably work really well. So it's not that it doesn't work, but it's just kind of I don't know, kind of a hefty claim for a sunscreen, I think. But it is SPF 50 PA+++++. So it is basically the best of the best rating as far as the SPF that you are quoted as the SPF you are getting against all the wavelengths, which is really, really nice. Plus it looks really nice on. It doesn't look like you have on foundation. It is no coverage. Don't go into it thinking that it will replace your foundation, because it will not. It is zero coverage, but it does kind of help even out the skin tone a little bit, and it guards against all the wavelengths of light really, really well. So this is my personal favorite, and then this one is my second favorite because it's waterproof. I really like this one, but this one just goes on really, really nicely. The Color Science one I find can be the tiniest bit shiny sometimes, so I will have to put a primer on over top of it sometimes to kind of reduce that shine. But with the Exuviance, you don't really have to do that at all. It just looks good, just looks satin, it looks like your skin, and it protects you really well. So then my last mineral one is this one by Neutrogena. Is their Sensitive Skin Face Sunscreen. I don't like this one very much, but you do have to shake it. And this one has no tint, which is why I wanted it. It is broad spectrum SPF 50, by the way. I wanted it because it had no tint, and I was like, well, it'd be nice to have one that, doesn't have any color in it. But it leaves a really bad white cast. Sometimes I'll wear this one and then I'll put something over top of it, like the Australian Gold one. Because this one is water resistant and so is this one, so sometimes I'll kind of pair them together if I know that I'll be sweating a lot, or I will be in the water, at the pool, at the beach, something like that. But this one leaves a pretty bad white cast. So if you don't use it around your eyes, it's not as bad, but if you get it around your eyes, you end up with this weird purpley blueness happening, and it's just not pretty. You look dead. It does work. It stays on really well. I'll put some of this on my hand and I'll show you how white it is, how bad the white cast is on this one. So here it is, white, rubbing it in, still rubbing, and there we go. You can't really see too much, but if you kind of compare the two hands there, this is the one with the sunscreen on it. That's as rubbed in as it will get because it gets dry, and then this is just like a normal hand. it looks, honestly, it looks better on my hands than it does on my face. But you know, I'm crazy pale and I still get a white cast from it. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend this one unless you don't care about white cast, or you find that your skin tone just doesn't really show that very much. Then this would be a good one for you. It's very inexpensive in comparison to the more prestige brands of sunscreen, but you get what you pay for. So now it is time to move on to chemical sunscreens, whoop whoop. So some of them are actually just moisturizers that have SPF in them. And you know what? This is one of those. I will get back to that one. So I'm going to start off with the ones that are just actually straight sunscreen, and then go into the ones that have sunscreen built into the moisturizer. So this one is also by Neutrogena. It is their Clear Face Breakout Free Liquid Lotion Sunscreen, Broad Spectrum SPF 55. And it is water resistant for 80 minutes. I do like this one a lot. It doesn't leave much of a white cast. The tiniest bit, I would say maybe the tiniest bit of a white cast. It's not really noticeable. It does dry down very dry. It's not drying to the skin, but it's a very matte finish with this one. Probably because it is, you know, the breakout free one. So it has, you know, no oil. It's very light. This one is a chemical one, so we're kind of into the chemical sunscreens now. This one's great. I don't know why it's 55, but I don't really think that makes much of a difference. It's probably still more like a 50, but it is very nice. I have found that it's good when my skin is being particularly badly behaved and very oily and very congested. It does do what it says. It doesn't break you out, which is nice, which some sunscreens will be too heavy, like that COTZ one. So this one's pretty good. And then the other one is from Aveeno. It's their Protect and Hydrate SPF 50 sunscreen for the face. This one has, you know, colloidal oatmeal in it, so it's very hydrating. You could use it by itself probably as a moisturizer if you wanted. It can be a little bit greasy if you put on the full amount. I find that my skin, it looks really greasy at first and then it sinks in, and then my skin is just like, we're dewy, and it's happy. So this one's pretty good. I like it a lot. It is a chemical one, but it is non-comedogenic, so this also kind of goes in that breakout free range. It has, like I said, the antioxidant oat in there, and it is sweat and water resistant for 80 minutes. So this is a favorite for workouts. Sometimes I'll do this one, and then just for a little extra protection, the Australian Gold over top of it. Which, I just really like the Australian Gold one. I wish it was a slightly lighter tint, so Australian Gold, if you're listening, make one of the same exact thing, please, but with just a slightly lighter tint. And you know, I'll have a favorite sunscreen for forever. But I do still really like that one. This one is great. Like I said, it is very hydrating, so you don't have to worry about it drying out your skin like some sunscreens do. So especially in the summer, you could probably wear that one just as is. Then we have Mario Badescu. And this one is their oil-free moisturizer broad spectrum SPF 30 sunscreen. I like it. It's a good moisturizer. I think it's a very good moisturizer. I like that it has SPF 30 in it, not 15 like some sunscreens do, like some that I'm going to get to. Moisturizers. And it is pretty reasonably priced. It does have the green tea in it as well, so it is pretty calming to the skin. And the only active ingredients in this one does not have the oxybenzone. So if you find that you are sensitive to or wary of oxybenzone, this would be a good moisturizer for you because it doesn't have that in it. Then moving on to more Aveeno products. Oh, and I just knocked them all over. Well, that's fun. So I have these two, and these are both SPF 15. They are moisturizers. One is the Ultra Calming, the other is the Positively Radiant. The calming one really is calming, I can tell you, but it is only SPF 15. So sometimes if my skin is being, you know, very rosacea prone and unhappy, or my skin barrier I find is a little bit depleted, this one is really good. It is very, very calming. It can sting around the eyes a little bit, so I would maybe keep it away from the eyes, but it does do what it says. It is calming. It has SPF 15 in it, so, you know, it probably wouldn't take the place of a sunscreen. I would probably use this and then a sunscreen on top of it. This one, the Positively Radiant one, same thing, SPF 15. If I wear this one, I would probably recommend adding another sunscreen on top of it. Both of these also do not have the oxybenzone in them. So again, if you're sensitive to oxybenzone, these might be good options for you. This one, I love this moisturizer. I do find it to be very brightening. It does help even out your skin tone, and it's very, very nice. So I found out that they also made it in SPF 30, so I bought the SPF 30 one. Same thing. This is the Positively Radiant Daily Moisturizer with broad spectrum SPF 30. It is that Positively Radiant, so it has the soy complex in it that helps to brighten and even the skin tone. This one does have oxybenzone in it, so I don't know if maybe the oxybenzone is kind of what helps bring it up from a 15 to a 30, which there's not that much difference between them, but you know, I would say always go for a higher SPF if you can, but probably not much higher than like a 50 or a 55, because then it's probably not great for you at that point. But this one is really, really nice. I like this one as well. This is I'm in a hurry and I don't have time to put on layers of sunscreen like I normally do, or if I'm just gonna run my dog out to take him, just go out to the bathroom really quick in the morning before I come in and get ready, or put on more sunscreen to go for a run or something like that. So this is a good one. I would recommend it. This has been one of my like holy grail moisturizers for years and years and years. I think I started using this one as either the 15 or the 30. I can't remember which one I originally used it as. It may have been the 15, but it also could have been a 30, or it could have been interchangeable. But I started using it in middle school, possibly even elementary school. Definitely middle school though, but I've been using it for years and years and years, and I think it is great. It does do what it claims to do. So those are my sunscreen recommendations. I've used a lot of other ones. These are the ones that I have kept after trying, so you know, I liked them enough to keep them, except for this one. I just couldn't return it, so I just really wouldn't recommend this one. All the other ones I do think are great, and I do have pretty sensitive skin, and I've been able to use all of them and tolerate them pretty well. So if you have any recommendations of sunscreen, please let me know down below, and I will definitely give them a try and let you know what I think. Also, you know, if you have any questions about sunscreens and how they work and all that good stuff, let me know. I can maybe make a video a little bit more in depth about the, you know, molecular properties and why they work the way that they work. And you know, always hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Thanks so much.